Hello. Hi Deepti. Hi Shishma.
Hi, Prasad.
Yeah. Uh, Yesterday it got fixed, the issue.
Sorry, Prasad. It got resolved.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions from that means by Sushma or Deepti?
Uh, no, Prasad, not exactly.
Okay.
Just one thing I wanted to ask, like when we should use the static and dynamic connections, like.
Convert like when we are going to pass those connections by using the parameters and variables, we have one concept. Okay. In our real time, if you want to pass, if you want to dynamically pass the connection, okay, if you want to change the connection, then we are going to use this dynamic connection. Okay. I will explain.
Okay.
Mhm. Just a minute. So, mhm, Ashok, right. Mm, In today's session, we are going to learn about the different types of tasks that are available in our Informatica. Till now, we have seen only the session task, and we are going to see the remaining tasks. So, shall we wait for them? Yeah, Vijesh has been arrived. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So far we have seen the session log. We have seen the session log, and there are different tasks that are available in Informatica. Then these are the different tasks that are available in Informatica. Okay. So out of this, the three tasks which we are going to use regularly. One is the session task, and the command task, and the decision task. Next, the decision task we are going to use. Okay. So we have so many times we have seen what is the session task. Okay, from the starting of the classes, we have so many times we have used this session. And in today's session, we're going to start with the command task, and we're going to see what we can do with this command task. What are the tasks we can perform by using this command task? Command task. Okay, command task. So we use this command task to copy files, move, delete the files, and at the same time to execute these scripts, execute the shell scripts, execute the shell script. We use this command task to copy the files and move, delete, and execute the scripts. So for copying the files in Windows, the command is copy from the directory which you want to copy and the file name, and to the directory which you want to copy. That means this will be the directory 1, and to which directory you want to copy. This is for the Windows. When it comes to Unix, this is for the Windows. Okay. But when it comes to Unix, okay, the copy command is cp. Okay, cp is the command for copying the files, and remain the remaining syntax remains the same. And this is the copy in Windows, and in Unix it is CP. Okay, and next, for to move the files, the syntax here is move, and in Unix it is mv. Okay, mv. If you want to move the files, this is the syntax in Windows, and in Unix this is mv. And for deleting the files, it will be delete in Windows, and in Unix it is rm. Okay, in rm. So here in Unix you need to type this in small letters, not in the case in capital letters. It should be in small. Okay, so let it be cp mv rm. Okay, copy and delete. Okay, when it comes to if you want to execute any shell script, the syntax is ksh. Okay, ksh, the directory and the script. The directory you need to give, that means where the script is located, and the script name. Script name. Okay, so here let us say this, for this example, I'm going to ksh. I want to call the script, just a minute. This is the script, and I want to say script dot sh. The shell scripts extension will be .sh. Okay, if you want to execute any scripts, this is the syntax. Copy and move and delete, these are the syntax. So most of the times you are going to use this command task for copying the files from one directory in our real time, sorry, one directory to another directory. So most of the times we use this command task to copy the files from one server to another server. Okay, and one server to another server. Okay, so we are going to receive in this the files from the OLTP to this server, and we are going to move these files to the landing directory, that means our file directory to which our Informatica is pointing. Okay, so these are the uses of the command task, and we're going to see a small example how to copy the files from one directory to another directory by using the command tasks. Okay, workflow and create. I will create this session command task. Command task. Okay, in this command task I'm going to show the example for the Windows, where currently we are running on Windows, not on Unix. Okay, I'm going to show the example of Windows. Copy space, so I will copy this source path. So this is my path, and in this directory I want to copy this. I'm going to pick this parameter.txt. This is the file, and I want to move this file to infrashed. Let me delete this. Okay, and I will copy this, and I want to move to infrashed folder. This is my requirement. Okay. Okay, so copy from this directory. This is the first directory, and to this directory I want to move the copy the file. Select OK and save it. Start workflow. It is running and it got succeeded, and if you see, it has copied the file, the parameter.txt, to the infrashed. Earlier I have deleted this. Let me delete one more time. So I will run this workflow one more time. Start work. and it will copy the file. It will copy the file to this directory. Similarly, you can practice the remaining move, delete, and shell scripts. Anyhow, we cannot execute. We are currently not running on the Unix. Okay, so these are the uses of the command tasks. Okay, these are the syntax. You can try this when you practice. This is the command task. Next, we are going to see about the email task. Next, we are going to see about the email task.
So for delete thing, only one the file should be given, like not the
Yeah,
both
yeah,
both the past.
yeah. Sorry. Yes, correct. Yeah, this is. Yeah, for delete we need to give only one. Correct. In remove, this is only one. Okay, so move we need to use this multiple. Delete only one thing. Yes, correct. Yeah. And next, the email task. Okay, so here the email functionality will won't work on this version. Okay, but I will explain what we are going to do with email function. Okay, with the email function, sorry, email task. If you want to send any email, if you want to send in any email based upon the success, that means the status, whether it got succeeded or failure, or we have so many other conditions in our workflow. Based upon that conditions, if you want to send any email to particular email address, we can send an email address based upon the status. Okay, so we have so many conditions. One second, let me create one email task. I'm going to create one email task, and this one I'm going to link to this. Okay, this one I'm going to link to this. Here we have so many conditions here. Okay, one second, let me delete this, and here I'm going to add one reusable session, and I will link this to and this one. Okay, so I have connected one session, then after that email. Okay, so if this session is failed, let us assume that if this session is failed, then only I want to send an email to a particular address. Okay, so I'm going to give the condition on this link condition. So these are called link condition. We can provide the conditions here. Just double click on this link, and we have, these are the predefined function. That means based upon this we can give the conditions. So if we have any errors, that means target success rows is greater than some value. We can see here, whenever if you are running any workflow, we are going to see the success rows, failed rows, and status, and start time, number of source success rows, number of failed rows. Everything will be captured under this predefined variables. So end time, when the session has been ended, that time will be captured under this variable. It will store that value in this variable. If you have any errors, that will be captured in this, and error messages, everything will be captured in this predefined variables. If you have any failure rows, that means some rejected records or any other record, that will be captured. The number of rejected rows count will be captured in this predefined variables. Okay, so now the based upon the status, that means whether it got succeeded or failed, I'm going to run this email task. So if this session is failed, if this session is failed, I'm going to run the email task. I want to run this email task only if this session is failed. So I have given the condition on the link condition saying that if the status of this session is failed, if the status of this session is failed, then only I want to run this session. So now, if by any chance due to some reasons this got failed, and it is going to trigger this email task. It is going to trigger this email task. In this email task, we need to provide the information of the email username. Email username is nothing but the email ID of to which do you want to send this email. Okay, and the subject area you can give the jobs status failed. And the email text you can give, that means you can give the information like session information or repository information, and the folder information you can pass it over here, and you can just save it. And whenever this session is failed, it is going to trigger this email task, and it is going to send an email to that particular email address which you have configured in the email task. This is about the email. Based upon the status of the earlier session, we can send an email to the respective mail IDs. Okay, this is about the email task. And next we are going to see about the one more important task which we use regularly in our real time. So this is the decision task. Next we are going to see about the decision task. This decision task we are going to use decision task. Okay. So if you have any dependency between two sessions, if you have the dependence, let us say that we have session 1, and session 2 and session 3. Okay. So let us say that if these two are succeeded, then only I want to run this session. If either one of this is failed, I doesn't want to run this session. This is my requirement. Okay, if these two are succeeded, then only I want to run this session. So if either of one is failed, I doesn't want to run this session. This is my requirement. Okay, this is my requirement, and this we can achieve it by using the decision task. We can achieve it by using the decision task. Okay. So let me create a task for the decision. Okay. So we have created one workflow, and I'm going to add two sessions. And next the decision task. Again, I'm going to use the same another lookup. Here we are not concentrating on the data loads and all. Okay, we are just concentrating on the success and failure of the sessions. Okay, so it's nothing to do with the data loads. We are just try to concentrate on success and failure of the session. All these tasks are depend upon the success and failure of the session, and arrange horizontal. Okay, so if you are not providing any conditions on these links, by default it is going to execute one after the other. That means when the session got succeeded, automatically it will trigger this session, next the decision, and next this third session. Session 1, session 2, and session 3 will be executed in the same order. If you are not specifying any conditions on this link, so if you are specifying any conditions on this link, based upon that link condition, it is going to trigger the next session. Okay, so now my requirement is, by using this decision task, I can load the data based upon these two sessions success. That means if these two are succeeded, then only I want to run this session. So if you're not giving the any conditions between these two sessions, then it will, first of all, it will run. Okay, let us assume that it got failed. Then after that it will start trigger and it is succeeded. Then it will be triggered the third one, the decision task. It will be succeeded and it will be triggering the third workflow. But this is not my requirement. My requirement is if these two are succeeded, then only I want to run this third session. So this I am going to achieve by using the decision task. Okay, so in this decision task, I'm going to give the condition, double click on the decision and go to properties. Here under decision name, we need to give the condition. Just double open on this, and here I'm going to write the condition. So this is my first session, status equal to, okay, SUCC succeeded. That means one second. If is equal to succeeded, and both the sessions should be succeeded. Okay, both the sessions should be succeeded. So this is status equal to succeeded. Then I'm going to assign the value true or else false, So if both the sessions are succeeded, then only I want to execute the third session. Select apply, okay, and save it. And here I'm going to give the condition as status equal to succeeded. Clearly observe what the conditions I'm giving here. So I'm giving the condition as status equal to succeeded. So in this decision task, what I have derived the condition is, what is the condition which I have given. So if both the conditions are succeeded, then only then I have assigned the value true and false. We have defined one condition here. Okay. So now here I have given the condition on status. Okay. So let me run this workflow, start workflow. Okay, this has been running and it failed, but still it is running, and decision has been succeeded, and this got failed. Okay, it got okay. We are nothing to do with the status of this sessions. If you observe, my requirement is if these two are succeeded, then only I want to run this third session. Then only I want to run this third session. But if you observe, it still triggered the third session. But still, it has triggered the third session. Why? Because irrespective of whatever the condition, every time the decision task will be succeeded. Whatever the condition of that means, if this both two are failed or both two are succeeded, every time the decision will be succeeded only. Every time the decision will be succeeded only. So when we are using any decision task, we should not give the condition on the status. We should not give the condition on status. We should give the condition on condition. Okay. If the condition is equal to true, the value which you are deriving from this decision. Here we have given the condition. What is the condition? If both the sessions are succeeded, then only I am assigning the value true or else false. If it is true, the condition is true, then only I want to run this session. Okay. So whenever if you are using any decision task, you need to give the condition on the conditions which you have. That means the value which you are going to get from the condition. Okay, so here if both the sessions, these two sessions are succeeded, then only I want to run this session. Okay, so I have given the condition as the condition is equal to true, then only I want to run this third session. Okay, let me close this and I will rerun. Okay, start workflow. Okay, save this and start workflow. Now if you observe, this is failed and this is running, and now it will trigger this decision task. It got succeeded, but it is not triggering the third session. Why? Because the condition is false and it's not going to trigger the third session. Okay, third session. Okay, let me check why it is failing. Disconnected table or view does not exist. Just a minute. Source, and this should be the target. Actually, I'm doing the changes for the reusable transformation here. So, but in your real time, so you should not do any changes to the reusable task. Okay. So now I have done the changes. Now again, I will rerun this workflow. Start workflow. Now this time the both will be succeeded. The both will be succeeded. Now the decision is succeeded. Now it will run. What happened here? Decision condition is true. 1 second. It's true and false. This we have given the wrong condition in the decision. Actually, we need to give the condition on connected lookup and the source qualifier. We have given the condition here on both. That means the third session we are checking the condition. This one should be this one, the status of this. Status of this succeeded, then only I want to run the third workflow. Let me rerun this. Start workflow. Got succeeded, and now again it got succeeded. It succeeded. Now this will run the third workflow. Okay, it is failing. It's not required whether it got succeeded or failure. But if you observe, it has triggered the third session. Okay, so if any of these sessions are failed, if any of these sessions has been failed, it's not going to trigger the third session. Let me do one thing. So I'm going to change this. What I will do is I will change this connection. I will change this connection, and now it will fail, the second session will fail, and it will not trigger the third session. Start workflow. The first session is running and got succeeded, and it will fail, and it will trigger the third decision task, and you can see it is not running the third session. It will not run the third session. This is about the decision task. So whenever we are using any decision task, we need to give the condition based upon the value which you are going to get from the condition. We have checking for true and false condition. So if it is true, then only I want to run the third session, or else I doesn't want to run the third session. This is the decision task. Okay, next we are going to see about the assignment task. Next we are going to see about the assignment task. WF underscore. I will add this session again. This session again. So this one is the assignment, and I will link these two and these two, this two. Okay. Enjoy. Okay. So now by using the assignment task, we can assign a value. We can assign a value to the variables that we have. Okay. Okay, we haven't completed this variables, right? We haven't completed variables. Okay, so any one of you, let's just remind me. I will explain this assignment task because this topic is dependent on this topic. Okay, so I will explain this task once we complete this. Okay, we're going to see once we complete this class. Just remind me. Just I'm going to explain this assignment task, how you're going to use this assignment task once we complete this parameters and variables. Okay, so this concept is dependent on variables, so we cannot see this example for this task. Okay, next we're going to see about the timer task. Okay, next we're going to see about the timer task. This timer task, by using this timer task, we can set the delay period between two sessions. That means once the session has been triggered, if you want to set any delay period between these two, after 1 minute or 2 minutes, if you want to set any delay period, then we can set the delay period by using the timer task. So by using this timer task, I'm going to set the 1 minute delay time period between these two sessions. Okay, just double click on the timer, and here in the timer task, we can set the time. Just click on relative time, and from the time of task, that means when this task has been started, that means the timer task has been started from the time of this particular task has been triggered. Okay, let it be. From this task has been started, when this timer starts will start, from that point it is going to count the 1 minute. From that point it is going to count the 1 minute. So if you're selecting this option from the start time of the parent workflow or parent worklet, okay, so it is going to calculate from this time. So if when this has been started, from that time it is going to calculate the time. Okay, if it is started, so from if you're setting the time as 1 minute, so after the 1 minute this task has been triggered, it is going to trigger the next session. Okay, this is the options. So I'm going to set this option from the task of this time, and I'm going to set it as 1 minute. Okay, top level workflow I'm going to explain. Okay, if you have multiple workflows in the same workflow, then you're going to use this option. Okay, so for the time being, so this is the options from the timer task has been triggered. If you select the second option from the start time of the parent workflow, that means from the time this task has been started. Now I'm going to set the delay time period as 1 minute. Select OK and save it. And here I'm going to give the conditions again. So if this status is equal to succeeded, the status is equal to succeeded, and again this status equal to succeeded. I think it will fail again because it won't be there. Okay, so because at that far, if you see here, we have earlier we have changed, but it hasn't reflected because we haven't done the changes for the actual session. Okay, save it, and again I will run this workflow. Start workflow, and it is running, and this timer task will wait for 1 minute. This timer task will wait for 1 minute, and then it will trigger the next session. So somebody has dropped. Yes, no, everyone is there. It will wait for 1 minute, 24 seconds. If you select the second option, it will count this time. You can see here this is 36 seconds. It will count for this time, and it is going to trigger after this has completed 1 minute. So currently we have set the delay period on this timer task, not on the parent workflow task. Okay, now you can see 1 minute it has been done. It has triggered the second session. This is how we can set the delay period between two sessions by using the timer task. Next is the control task. Before I explain about the control task, I need to explain one more property of the session. So if you see here, we have three options: fail, parent task, if fails. If you check this option, if this session is failed, let us say that this session is failed, it is going to fail this parent task. If you are not enabling this option, means if this session is also failed, then if this session is failed, then also it is going to succeed the parent workflow. If you are not enabling this option, if the session is failed, then also it is going to succeed the parent workflow. Okay. I will show you an example. So fail this parent task if fails, and go to the mappings. I will give the wrong connection here. Save it. Start workflow. It is failed, and you can see the parent task is also failed. And let us say I will uncheck that option. I'm going to uncheck this option and save it and start workflow, and it will fail, and it will not fail the parent workflow. Why? Because what is the use of this? So what is use of setting this option? So what is the dependency that we are going to use? We have the what is the dependency we are going to set in our real time is, so most of the third-party schedulers are based upon the status of this workflow, not on the sessions. Okay, so if you by third-party schedulers, we are going to run these workflows, and they are completely dependent upon the status of this workflow. So if you're not enabling this option, if the sessions also failed, the parent workflow will be succeeded, and the scheduler will think that this job got succeeded, and it automatically triggers the next job. Okay, so that's the reason if any sessions are failed, you're going to fail the parent task. That means the scheduler will know that this job got failed, and it will fail the job in the schedule as well. Okay, so this is the use of failing the parent task. Okay, and the next option is fail parent if this task does not run due to some reason. Okay, if due to repository or any other due to services down, due to some reason, if this task is not running, it is going to fail the parent task. If you want to disable this task, we can disable this task. That means it won't run while we are running this workflow. It won't run this task, and it is going to skip this task. Let's say that if you have multiple sessions one after the other, if you disable this option, it's not going to run the first session, it will skip to the next session. These are the options, and based upon these options, I'm going to explain about the control task. Okay, so now I will add this source qualifier. I'll connect this, and again I'm going to connect this session to this. Okay. So in this I'm going to give the status equal to succeeded, status equal to issue. Okay, so now by using this control task, we can decide whether to fail the parent workflow. Based upon which condition do you want to fail this parent workflow, so that we can control the flow by using this control task. So go to the properties of control task. In the properties we have options fail me. Okay, if you select this option, it is going to fail only this control task. It is going to fail this control task. That means based upon the success and failure of the previous session, if you're selecting this option control task fail me, it is going to fail the control task only. Okay, so fail parent means it is going to fail the parent task. It is going to fail the parent task, that is nothing but our workflow parent task. So stop and abort. Okay, we have two different types. What is the stop and abort? I will explain. First of all, let me explain what is the stop and abort. If you select the option on, you can see when the workflow is running, if you just right click on this, you have two options, stop and abort. There are two options, stop and abort. If you select stop option, the integration service will stop then and there itself. At that instant, it's going to stop the workflow. It is going to stop the workflow at that instance. Okay, when you select abort, we have 1 minute of grace period. Within this one time, whatever the data that it fetches from the source, it will try to commit the data to the target within 1 minute. Okay, so after the 1 minute, it is automatically abort the workflow. It is going to abort the workflow. So we'll have 1 minute of grace period. If you use this abort command, after 1 minute it is going to fail the session. If you select the stop, at that instance, at that point only, it is going to stop the workflow. This is the difference between stop and abort. Okay, so now here we have the stop and abort. This is the difference. Okay, so now fail top level workflow. If you want to fail the top level workflow, you can select this option. So now I'm going to select this option, fail top level workflow. So here, if this session is failed, then I'm going to fail the top level workflow. I'm going to fail the top level workflow. And here I'm not configuring these two options. You can see this one and this one. I'm not configuring any here. So if this session is failed, I want to fail this parent workflow. So now I'm going to give the wrong condition for this. This is the target, right? So I'm going to give the source. Okay, in source also we have the target. Okay, let me change some value. Okay, and for this, I think we should have the correct, no, we should give the target, source and department. Okay, save it, start workflow. It is running, dot succeeded, sorry, this one. One second, let me close this and show you the example one more time. Start workflow, and it is running. This has succeeded and it has failed the parent workflow. It has failed the parent workflow. Okay, this is how we can control the task. Not only on the status, let us say that if you have any failure rows, based upon the failure rows also we can, that means total transaction errors is greater than 0, then I want to fail the parent workflow. If this succeed, if we have the errors also, the session will be succeeded, but still if you have any errors, then I want to fail the parent workflow, then also I'm going to fail the session. Okay, and next, target failure also, based upon the target failure, if you have any some junk data in the records and it's going to reject those records. Based upon the target failure rows, I want to fail the parent workflow. Okay, so based upon these conditions, we can control the flow of this workflow by using the control task. Next, we have the event wait and event raise. So this is also one more interesting tasks. Okay, so let me explain this. We are going to use together. Okay, we cannot use separately. Event. Okay, first of all, let me correct this connections so that I can use it right away. Source, and this one is the target, normal, save it. Okay, now we have a scenario. Let us say that we have a scenario. I will link these two, and we have two more sessions, and I will link. So now I have a scenario in a way that, so if these two sessions are succeeded, and one more thing, sorry, okay, before that, these, if you observe here, this flow, that means these three are running in sequential, one after the another. Okay, here we are running these two sessions parallelly. Okay, these are called sequential and these are running in concurrent. Okay, this type of execution is called concurrent execution, and this is a sequential execution. Okay, one after the another, and here we are running parallelly. These two sessions will be triggered parallelly. Okay, so now we have the dependency. That means once these two sessions has been succeeded, and at the same time this session should also succeed, then only I want to run this session. This is my requirement. Here, if you observe, these two are running concurrently. Now we can set the condition, we can handle this scenario by using the event wait and event raise tasks. Okay, so now here I am going to add this event wait and event raise. Okay, so whenever these two sessions are succeeded, and this event raise will raise an event. And that event will be captured by this event wait. And then as and when it's going to get the event, right, it is going to trigger this session. Okay, so let me explain one more time. So we have a requirement that when these three sessions are succeeded, then only I want to run this third session. This we can achieve by using the event raise and event wait. That means here I'm going to raise an event by this event raise option, and that will be captured by this event. Okay, and as and when it's going to get that event, it is going to trigger this third session. Okay, event wait and event raise. This is going to raise an event, and that will be the same event will be captured by this event. So on which conditions we need to raise an event, we can define here. That means if these two are succeeded, then we are going to raise this event. So here I'm going to give the condition here, the status equal to succeeded, then I will run this session. Here also the status equal to succeeded. If both are succeeded, then only I'm going to trigger this event raise. Then it will raise an event. Okay, here also I'm going to give the same condition. Okay, here I will give the condition as status equal to succeeded, Okay, so here if these two are succeeded, then it will raise an event, and that event will be captured by this event. Till that time, it's not going to trigger this session. session. Okay, so how to create an event and how to raise an event, that is a question. So here, to raise an event, first of all we need to create an event at the workflow level. For that, go to workflows, edit, and click on events, and here I am going to add one event. I have added one event, and this event I am going to assign to this. So this is the event. Go to properties and select user defined event and select the event which you have created at the workflow level. So whenever this has been succeeded, these two are succeeded, it is going to raise that event, and that event will be captured by this event raise user defined. Click on this and I'm going to capture this event. Select OK and save it. So the event that which you have defined at the workflow level, that event will be raised by this event raise task, and that event will be captured by this event wait, and as and when it is going to capture that event that has been raised by the event raise, it is going to run this third session. Okay, now I am going to run this. Okay, it will be done within a fraction of seconds. Clearly observe, we won't have much records, right? It's going to run just like within a seconds. So these two has been triggered parallelly. You can see event wait is still waiting. Event raise has succeeded. This has been succeeded, and third one also got succeeded. Let me show you one more time. So if I will run this workflow, start workflow, these two are running parallelly. Okay, you can see event wait is running, still waiting it is. This succeeded and event raise succeeded, and it got succeeds event wait, and this will run the third session, okay, which you have the dependency. So first these two will be triggered, and next the event wait will be running. Okay, so as and when this will trigger, right, sorry, this one will be triggered, and this got succeeded and this got succeeded. Okay, but still the event wait will wait for this event raise. So till the time it will wait for this, for the event which is going to be raised by this event raise task. Okay, as and when it raises this task, it is going to trigger this third session. When it is going to raise this event, when these two sessions are succeeded, then only it is going to raise an event, and then it will run this session. Okay, any questions about the tasks? We have completed all the tasks.
Uh,
So
Third
the
session depends on first two sessions.
which one? This one?
Uh, Event raise దగ్గర two sessions ఉన్నాయి కదా
Yeah. Oh yes, we have two sessions.
ముందు దానిపైన అదే సెషన్ ఉంది కదా ఈవెంట్
Okay.
వెయిట్ ముందు అది
We are
దీని ముందు దీని రెండు మీద డిపెండ్ అయిద్దాం
ఇప్పుడు ఈవెంట్ రైజ్ అన్నది ఓకే. సో మన రిక్వైర్మెంట్ ఏంటంటే ఈ3 when these three are succeeded, then only I want to run this event wait. Okay, so this session status I'm going to send it from this link condition. Okay, ఇది succeed అయిందా లేదని చెప్పి this whether this session got succeeded or failure, I'm going to pass that condition by using this link condition. Okay, and these two status I'm going to send it by the event rise. Okay, and that will be captured by the event. As and when this should also succeed, at the same time it should get the event raise. Okay, which is raised, sorry, it should also get the event that has been raised by the event. So then only it will run the this session.
ఓకే ఒకవేళ ఫెయిల్ అయితే
Yeah, kada, nice question. So you will see what will happen. So if it fail, it will keep on running. Yeah, so save it, and I will start workflow. You can see, one second, you can see the event wait is still waiting. You can see this has been failed, this has been failed, but event wait is still waiting for this event raise to raise an event. It's not going to trigger the next this session. It's not going to run. It is going to wait till this has been succeeded. Okay, so it's not going to run. We need to abort this, and then we need to fix the session, and then we need to run it. Okay, it's
Okay.
not going to run the third, the dependency session. Okay, this is the dependent session. It's not going to run this session. Anything is failed. So we are left with only this assignment task. I'm going to explain about this assignment task once we are going to complete this variables, as this variable assignment task is dependent on this topic. Okay, so once we complete this parameters and variables in tomorrow's class, I'm going to explain this. Anyhow, we have seen the debugger earlier, so we are left with only assignment task. Okay, so now out of these all these tasks, session, obviously session will be important, session, and next the command task, and the next decision task. These are the three tasks which we are going to use regularly in our real time. The remaining tasks we are not going to use. Okay, so these are the three tasks which are going to come across when we are working in real time: decision, and command, and session task. Okay, why? Because these all options will be available in the third-party scheduling tools. Most of the times you're not going to use these tools, and these options are already available in the third-party schedulers. Schedulers are nothing but, so based upon, that means if you want to run a set of workflows on daily basis, we can schedule those jobs from the third-party schedulers, and we can run the jobs on daily basis. So every day if you want to run the 10 workflows at 9 o'clock, we can run those workflows at 9 o'clock. We can schedule that in such a way that every day the jobs will be triggered at 9 o'clock. That we can configure by using the third-party schedules. Any other questions? So that's it for today's session, and see you in the next class. Tomorrow we are going to see the parameters and variables, and day after tomorrow we are going to see the slowly changing dimensions. Yes, Mohanlata, do you have any questions to ask? Okay,
Hello?
that's it for today. Yeah, Chapandi.
Okay, no doubts, Prasad garu.
Okay, fine. So that's it for today's session, and see you in the next class. Uh, I'm going to end the session. Anyone have any questions? Deepthi, yes, tell me.
Thank
No?
you. Just please update the resume so that I can prepare.
Yeah, okay. Today I will definitely, I'm going to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, and some interview questions if you have. Otherwise,
Yeah,
let's.
sure, sure, sure.
Thank you.